Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's DLloyd. So even more news in this Jimmy Butler saga with Minnesota right now. Of course, you guys know by now that yesterday, two things happened. One, we found out that the Minnesota Timberwolves actually rejected a trade from the Miami Heat that did involve Josh Richardson and a protected first-round pick. We don't know the protections of that pick, but it was a protected first-round pick. Then we also find out that not only was the trade rejected, it was turned down by Glenn Taylor. Glenn Taylor is the owner of the Timberwolves, the same person that mandated to Thibodeau that Jimmy Butler needed to be traded. We also found out, of course, that Jimmy Butler flew to Minnesota, and he flew there to meet with Thibodeau to reiterate that he would like to be traded. Now we're finding out that regardless of everything that's going on, the Timberwolves, they say they want Jimmy Butler to come back. They are preparing for Jimmy Butler to be on the roster come tip-off next week. I think, for one, that could be a mistake. I know Jimmy Butler is a talented player. I know Jimmy Butler will help you win games. But within that locker room, although Karl-Anthony Towns may not say much, when Jimmy Butler actually sees him face-to-face in the locker room, you know him and Karl-Anthony Towns don't have a great relationship. The reason why he didn't sign that extension was because he literally wanted to make sure Jimmy Butler was gone. He wanted to see what would happen with the Jimmy Butler situation before he signed his contract extension. When did he actually sign that extension? Once Jimmy Butler came out publicly and requested a trade. At that point, he's seen Glenn Taylor saying that, hey, we need to trade Jimmy Butler. He then signed his contract extension. That could have been a mistake because Jimmy Butler is still there. You have Andrew Wiggins, who also isn't going to say anything in Jimmy Butler's face, but Andrew Wiggins doesn't like Jimmy Butler. I'm sure there are other players in that locker room that feel the exact same way. So you bring him into that locker room, that's going to be a toxic situation that I don't think that you could afford to have with this young team, who I think will struggle anyway without Jimmy Butler. But you throw him in there, it's going to be hard to make the playoffs in the Western Conference. I just don't think it's worth it. Now, for the Timberwolves, you can see it from their perspective. You make Jimmy Butler play because he's not going to hold out. He's going to want to get his money. You make him play, and you raise the value of Jimmy Butler, saying that we're going to keep him, but you have full intention of trading him before the trade deadline. So I do see it from that perspective. But it looks like Jimmy Butler right now, he is requesting that a trade not only gets done, but that a trade gets done by Friday. Today's Wednesday, which means he has 2 days to be traded if they honor the request by him. You have people out there that believe that the Timberwolves should not trade Jimmy Butler. They look at what happened with Cleveland, and they look at how Cleveland honored, of course, Kyrie Irving's request to be traded, and they felt that Cleveland lost that trade ultimately, and they should have just kept Kyrie Irving. Now, there's two differences in that situation. One, Kyrie Irving was under contract for a few more seasons. You look at Jimmy Butler, this is it. This is his final year. He already told you he is not going to stay past this season. I think you have to trade him at some point. I don't think you hold on to him like you do with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, he led you to a finals with LeBron James. Yes, they had some issues, but clearly it worked. Clearly, he was a player that you know you were going to win games with. Jimmy Butler, yes, you're going to win games with, but it's still going to be tough for you to make the playoffs in the Western Conference this season. You barely snuck in last season, and now some of these Western Conference teams got a little bit stronger, and clearly one of the most important teams that just came out of nowhere, you have the Lakers that can now compete to try to knock you out of the playoffs. So it's going to be tougher even with Jimmy Butler there. But then, like I just said, Jimmy Butler, he's only 1 year left on his deal, so he has the leverage in terms of he could leave. If you don't trade him, he's not going to be there, and you allowed him to leave for absolutely nothing in return. Even if you got a first-round pick, you got something for Jimmy Butler, who's ultimately going to leave. So I do think it is a little bit different from that situation with Boston. I think you have to trade him at some point. I think the longer you wait, the less you're going to get in exchange. I think if you would have traded him in August before anything happened, when he first requested a trade, I think you would have got a lot more than when he publicly came out. And now you see the turmoil in that locker room. Even when he comes back, I don't think he will get much more, if anything at all. I think if you wait until the trade deadline, you may even get less for Jimmy Butler at this point. But you guys let me know how you guys feel about this in the comment section below. Do you believe the Timberwolves will trade Jimmy Butler before Friday? And do you think they should trade Jimmy Butler before Friday. You guys let me know how you guys feel about that in the comment section below. It's your boy DLloyd. I'm going to see y'all next time. Peace.